Honestly, I've never seen another franchise you could get into it. 60K, you're all in. And then you have some franchisees and a corporate store doing $1 million in revenue.
EasyGo really covers a whole lot of the franchise experience, handling the signups, sending text messages and email notifications, order reminders, really kind of end-to-end process. We have tools, built in pretty much the whole process. Sales, contacting schools, customers, payments. You're probably just leaving money on the table. EasyGo has the whole process built into it. You get a lot of long-term wisdom built into software, so you don't have to make a lot of the mistakes.
Scott, super excited to talk to you about Spoiled Rotten Photography and the tech that you have implemented to make the franchisees' jobs easier. So welcome, Scott.
Thank you very much, Ben. Yeah, glad to be here.
Scott, please tell us a little bit about your background. How long have you been with Spoiled Rotten Photography, and what were you doing before then?
Yeah. So, been with Spoiled Rotten Photography for 8 or 9 years now. Kind of early on in the franchisee process, maybe 2 or 3 franchises in, Melissa and I started conversations around building out EasyGo. Before that, I've pretty much always been doing software development, freelance, working with other small to medium business clients. And so, yeah, Spoiled Rotten was a great kind of match for kind of the things I've been doing, working on, web mobile apps for around 25 years now. So yeah.
Awesome.
It's been
I
fun.
love the model of Spoiled Rotten Photography because it's so simple. I mean, honestly, I've never seen another franchise you could get into it. You're paying a franchise fee, some equipment. I mean, 60K, you're all in, right? And then you have some franchisees and a corporate store doing $1 million in revenue. So like that's all set up awesome. But you're like, but photography, what if I don't have experience with photography? Can we start there? What gaps is the software EasyGo that you've developed? What are those? What are the major problems that that's solving for the franchisees?
Yeah, so EasyGo is really covers a whole lot of the franchise experience. So everything from managing those initial signups of sending out the information and giving parents information about what the event is, handling the sign up for the ones that want to register if it's a registration session, communicating with them as far as sending text messages and email notifications when their photos are ready, when order reminders, and then for ordering when they're ready to order, handles all the payments, gives them a nice gallery while the photos are there, handles you uploading matching photos to children, and then finally once you get to the end and events closing down, you're ready to produce the photos. Then we send everything to the lab for you. So really kind of end-to-end process.
Yeah,
A lot
it's
of
how to run your whole business, it kinda sounds like. So you
absolute.
don't need the experience. I'm like, "Okay, I ran photography. I know the operations as far as how to contact schools and bill parents and sort everything and send the actual photos to be produced." All of that is managed by you guys help manage with your software that helps oversee all of that. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, all that. We have tools, built in pretty much the whole process, and tools around sales, contacting schools, customers, payments, and that's definitely part of your training as well. Franchisee training, there's definitely a full walkthrough. You get to walk through in training a whole set of looking at here's how you set up an event and kind of run it end to end. You get a whole training session where you see event, sales, sending a lab,
Mhm.
all of that.
I would love to do like a kind of a side-by-side comparison on I just landed a customer today. I'm in the school. They said, "Sweet, I love your service. It's better." What am I doing now that I'm a Spoiled Rotten Photography franchisee with this software versus what kind of I would be doing as a standalone photographer? After I've made it to sell, what's that process like?
Yeah. So you made the sale. You kind of said, like, so first thing is, you can open up EasyGo and you can say, okay, when should we take a photo? Take a look at photos. You can open up EasyGo, see your calendar of all the events that you've currently booked, look at dates that work for you, look for your team. And you can sit down with the director there and be like, all right, let's pick a date, and you can compare calendars, set that up to date, and you can go ahead and put it in EasyGo immediately, right when you're there, put it on your calendar. So it's there and ready to schedule. And then once you kind of have a date scheduled, there's kind of 2 major routes. One is you have either a sign up session where you just ask the school, hey, please send out this link. And again, EasyGo has created a link that's unique for that event for parents to go to. It gives them all the information about what to wear, what's this event, all the questions that they would normally ask. It's there on a specific page for that event that EasyGo has created for them.
So,
And
real
then
quick, all communication that will go towards parents, students, and the school is already built out, done in EasyGo. You just need to make the sell, plug in the information, and then all the automations are starting. Sorry, I didn't
yeah,
want to cut you off. I just want to make sure I'm
you
understanding
got
it
it. Yep.
because otherwise I'm on my phone checking my calendar, trying to do all of the emails in my own CRM, trying to figure that out, how to not get blocked on email lists and all of that. So, okay, just wanted to kind of make sure I'm on the same page. So Yeah, continue from there, please.
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, so even from that initial point, like once you've scheduled it, you can send out. You can go ahead and send an email to the director through EasyGo. That's here's all the logistic information for this event after you punched it in. Gives them the dates, gives them the schedule of which photographers are going to be there, what time they're going to show up that day. Gives them the link to the blog post for the parent for has all the parent information. And then, so if parents are signing up, then that's, the school will communicate that link and then parents sign up and you have all the parent information of everybody who signed up. If it's not a sign up session, then the only other step you really have to do is you have to get with the director and be like, okay, how do I get a list of the students that are here and their parents and their contact information? Once you have that, you can import that in EasyGo as well.
Can you tell me what the difference is between a sign-up session and a non-sign-up session so we can understand a little bit
Sure.
more?
So sign up sessions are the nice part about it is with the sign up session, you ask the school, hey, send out the communication, tell them about picture day, and have people sign up for it. And there's certain situations where you'll still photograph every kid, even if they haven't signed up. But most of the time, part of the model of spoiled rotten photography is you photograph the kids of the parents who said they wanted to have their kid photographed. Those are the ones that are they're more likely to buy. So spend more time with those kids rather than spending a bunch of time with kids that don't even want to get photographed. The parents aren't even interested in it. So anyway, so sign up session would be you're asking the parents to sign up before of saying, yes, I want my kid photographed. Here's a little information about my kid. And the other side effect then is you have information about the parent as well because they created an account and have
And they don't need to commit to purchasing anything, but they're showing interest. They're saying, yes, I'm interested, versus the blanket approach is let's just take pictures of everybody and then go try to market and see who's sold. These guys are pre-sold. They've already raised their hand and said, yes, I am interested in what you're
exactly.
doing. And I would assume why most people don't do that, because it's like, why wouldn't you always, sign up is better. Well, it's more work and it takes software, it takes organization, it takes email management and keeping track of everything, which is obviously what you're solving here with EasyGo.
Yep. So EasyGo keep track of all that for you and has everybody that signed up. Then when you comes time to photograph, it has a list of here's all your signups, quick little barcodes that with their name information on it. You take a photograph of that right before you photograph them, so it can match after the fact of which kid is which sign up session and matches all the photos for you.
So how does it help with the actual sales process? So now I've came up with the list. I know all of the parents that are interested. I went, performed the work. The software's matching up everything. How do I now get these pictures to the parents, present the pricing and the packaging, and collect funds?
Yeah, pretty straightforward. So once you've uploaded the photos, there's just one of those automated emails you click, say, hey, look, everything's up, ready to go. Let everybody know. So uses the contact information that you already have, either from the sign up sessions or for the contact import, sends everybody an individualized link saying, hey, here's your gallery of your photos. In an email and text is available as an option as well. So they get that initial, hey, your photos are ready, contact, and they can click on that to go to our website. Has all their photos there. You can see all the photos. Ordering is explained pretty clearly there. Pretty simple system for choosing different packages, choosing all the card items. Mix and match photos, which ones you want, configuring all that out. Check out, pay, all that together on the one site.
And then we're also selling printed photos as well, right? So if the parent is selecting, yeah, I wanted printed photos, how does that process work? And do I need to go find someone who's going to produce them locally?
Right. So yeah, if you say if you have if you most events will have a mix of digital photos where you don't necessarily have any post production work to do. Sometimes if the parent has asked for touch ups or something along those lines, but those will just be notes in EasyGo that you can see and say, okay, I need to modify this photo for this parent. But then other than that, EasyGo's handled a digital delivery. You don't have to do anything extra. If there are printed photos, yeah, we have a partner with Richmond Labs is our provider for that. We have an integration with them, so it's basically it's a one click thing where, again, you maybe have to look through and see, hey, are there photos I need to touch up before I send them to the lab? Or occasionally, if you order really high res or something, if you have somebody ordered a really large print or something like that, you need to upload a higher res photo. But other than that, it's basically a one click thing of like, hey, send this to the lab and all that information about the orders, the contact information. If the parent chose for shipping to have it shipped directly to their house, then the Richmond will handle the drop shipping for you, so you don't have to you don't have to take them and ship them yourself. Otherwise, the ones that you're going to fulfill, you're going to take them to the school and hand out. Then those all come together in one order to your studio, and yeah, you just take them and package them up and drop them and take them over to the school.
I love that. That's so cool what you've built. Taking a little step back here, What are the skills then that the franchisee should have or doesn't quite need to have that maybe they think they need to have, right? That this tech is helping fulfill.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, yeah, there's a number of skills that, yeah, maybe if you've ever tried to do this without some software to handle it, then yeah, you need to be able to manage that contact information. Maybe you need to know how to do Mailchimp or something along those lines to, send out emails for on behalf of do the marketing for you. EasyGo really pretty straightforward, straightforward, relatively simple software. There's the training around it's pretty robust, so you should walk out it with a pretty good idea of the way everything works that you need to work. And so I would say, in general, yeah, as long as you know how to use a computer a little bit, then you can probably drop in Easy Go after training and run an event.
You don't need the experience on like, how do I manage all of this once I go make the sell? It's no, go make the sell on this is a much better experience for a very similar cost for the school. Um, and then once they buy, the software is really taking you through all of that. So again, and maybe it's not, we don't need to compare it to zero software, but if we think what's the average photographer using in software, like what is the big time savings or money savings that you feel like EasyGo is giving franchisees versus I mean, there's several franchisees that were doing this by themselves, right? Before
Sure,
they came on.
absolutely.
What are those the time and money savings that you think that they're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think the biggest money thing is probably if you're using some other software. You've either had to come up with a really good system, or you're probably just leaving money on the table from order reminders, really getting parents in. Like, you send that initial set of photos, and then how do you handle, like, who's ordered, who hasn't ordered, and how do I remind them, and how do I and EasyGo has the whole process built into it around that, as far as a calendar that's automatically configured based on your dates, as far as a recommended time for here's how long the order should stay open. Here's reminders and when those reminders are set to sent to different customers. So I think that's probably the hardest. If you're using some other software that isn't necessarily meant for running a photography, a school photography franchise. It's just meant about, maybe you're doing wedding photos or something along those lines. It probably doesn't have a lot of that functionality built in. Um, so yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest one.
So I love that. Like once we've made the sell at the school, it's handling everything all the way to delivery, collecting money and everything. What about repeat customers though? Because I love that I mean, this is 80-90% reoccurring revenue, right? You get that school and they stick on there. What is the software doing to help me capitalize on that reoccurring revenue? So like for next year.
Sure. So, I mean, one of your big advantages for your recurring events of long-term clients is you'll often have kind of a pre-built list of, kids that were at the school last year. So the parents are already there and you already have a lot more contact information about them. So if it's not a sign-up session, then this EasyGo does some matching. So like when you come in with a new list of here's a new list of students, it does work to make sure that, hey, find out that's a student last year. You already had their contact information for them. And so already know how to contact the parent for them. And you don't have to go through creating a new account. And if they, provided you with a mobile number where you didn't have a mobile number before, you can still text them, things like that. So it brings in, kind of merges, manages all that contact information is a big part of the process as well. Um, I'd say that's a big one. And then the other one from a recurring side of things is, we this is not automated, but it's definitely built in as functionality you can easily do in PhotoCard is in EasyGo is we have a number of clients, particularly at the end of the year, they'll take those repeat or bigger clients and market to them directly. So if somebody had relatively big orders, send a thank you. Hey, here's a coupon for a free Christmas, a free Christmas photo or something along those lines, and then market to them again, saying, hey, look, your orders are open. So if you want to go order for something that was there again, pulling some more of that, pulling some more money from clients who maybe you haven't, customers you haven't really photographed recently, but they're bigger spenders throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, I love that. And this has been developed over the last, would you say, 8-9 years, right?
Mhm. Yep.
What is some of the feedback that you receive from franchisees and customizations that evolved because of that?
Yeah, we definitely, I mean, we love getting feedback from our franchisees. We have a number of features that built out are completely just the brainchild of different franchisees and putting on there. A good recent one is it was a small change of We have an order report. So when people order, we produce a nice receipt that you can go, if that's a printed order that you're going to be delivering to the school, we have it there. And one of the things that one of our franchisees pointed out is like, it'd be really nice if there was, these are mostly for printed orders, but some of the people ordered printed photos and digital photos. And sometimes they don't remember how to go get their digital photos. And so they get their printed photos and they say, "Hey, how do I get my digitals?" And so they're like, "Oh yeah, that's great." So we just added a QR code to the bottom of those printed receipts so that parents can really easy. They get the printed receipt with their printed photos, and then there's a note there about, "Hey, you want your digital photos? Just scan this link and scan this QR code, and you can go grab them right now." So yeah, that was a great recent example of just some great feedback from franchisees where they're kind of looking to make the process better, and because it's our software, we built it, and we have control over it. We have flexibility of when somebody comes up with a great idea that feel like makes sense, then we can go
It's
out there and
such a
build it.
key because now you could really utilize all the brains of the 44 franchisees or territories, right? It's like everybody has good ideas. Um, And if we could find an implementation for one, can we implement it across the whole system? We'll know if you're using, an off-the-shelf software where now you're kind of like, cool, we've solved that, and now it's solved for everybody. So I really like that customization. So Scott, this is absolutely incredible what you built out. Obviously, it's saving tons of time, tons of money for franchisees. What is it costing franchisees though? How much do you guys charge for the tech?
Sure. It's 125 a month or 1.5% of gross. So whichever is greater of those two.
Okay, so very, very nominal. I mean, I represent other brands. One of them is at $1,500 a month just in the tech, and that's not that atypical, especially if we're talking about a system like that you've built, that's very custom for the specific brand, and you're customizing it as things and feedback come from franchisees, which is really cool. Scott, clearly you've built a ton of support on the tech side. So diving into a little bit deeper on that, what is the expectations that you would want to set for a potential franchisee on what support's already there, what's already been built versus what's on them to do?
Yeah. I think one of the things that's really amazing about Spoiled Rotten and EasyGo that we've built out is we have Melissa's long experience running the franchisees, a lot of hard fought, hard won. She's lived out a lot of the mistakes so that you don't have to live out the mistakes and building the process behind it. And then she's taken those processes that she's figured out for the business and then helped us build software around those processes. So you get a lot of long term wisdom built into software that helps you run events. So you don't have to make a lot of the mistakes that Melissa's made and other franchisees have made over the years. And so you get to benefit from all that kind of built into great workflows, great processes that are already encoded there and ready in the software for you.
Last question for you, Scott. If you're talking to somebody who's considering becoming a franchisee, what would you tell them? They're kind of on the fence. Who is this model for? Who is this not for?
Absolutely. Yeah. So start with, whose is not for. If you don't love kids, it's probably not for you. You don't necessarily need a ton of photography for experience, but you do have to be interested in, photography, learning the basics about it. You don't need gigantic amount of tech experience. There's a wonderful team that helps support and train you through all of that. So all that's great. I'd say the biggest thing I would tell somebody that's on the fence though, is, this is a really cool team, treats people super well. uh, Melissa and everybody at Spoiled Rotten has a really high standard of wanting to serve their friend. If you come on as a franchisee, feel a high level of commitment to you and making sure that you're successful. And there's a ton of resources around making sure that we give you everything you can to succeed.
Yeah, and the proof is in the pudding. You guys have been very successful over multiple decades. And again, to get into a franchise for 60K where the top franchisee is making 300,000 profit, you're like, "What?" Yeah, it took them a while to get there, right? But that's also another benefit is that recurring revenue. Like you start to get the flow, you get the relations with the school, and then you're not making the sell over and over again. You're leveraging the software that you and the team built. Scott, thank you. Very, very nice to meet you. Appreciate your
Yeah.
time.
Enjoyed it, Bennett. Thanks a lot.